What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Born2BNerd Podcast. My name's Ethan.
My name is Lance.
And today, we're going to be talking about, some media again. What we're consuming as far as, shows. Mainly, I think I want to talk about The Last of Us a little bit. It's finally back after 2 years or 3 years? I forget. Did it come out in 2022 or 2023?
I don't remember.
It's been a long time, though.
Yeah.
But I think, Lance, you played the game.
I did.
Games, and I didn't play them. I watched my old roommate Benjamin, every now and then while he was playing it, but I never played it. So I don't have that perspective on the show as someone who played the games. Mm-hmm. So because of the difference in perspective, I'm curious to see what you think of the current season and how it's unfolding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I do you want to get into season 1 too? Did we ever talk about that?
We talked about season 1, but it's been a long time. So we can, let's talk about season 1.
The Last of Us, first, the video game, Last of Us 1, is probably still my favorite game ever. It's probably the best game. Saying favorite is tough because there are games that are worse that I connect to more. Mm. But I will say it's the best game I've ever played. It gave me some incredible, deep emotional reactions.
Yeah.
It was intense. Fantastic game. The second one is also a fantastic game. I just didn't love, I think a lot of people agree that's it's the same, basically the same telling as the season 2. It's just not necessarily the story that we want to experience, but that's not saying it's a bad story. Makes a lot of sense. It's just, is that the story we want to hear, but it was still a great game. So, but yeah, whenever the live action was announced, I was excited, but I was also nervous. And
I remember us talking about the casting. I remember us talking about Pedro Pascal, and how, I love Pedro Pascal, and I know you love Pedro Pascal, but we were like, is he the right fit for Joel, or is he just this huge actor right now that's just booming, and so they want to throw him in this series as the first bill? Yeah,
and which is funny because I think it seems like most people's attention is on Bella Ramsey. Mm. And to be honest, as someone who's an incredible critic and someone who has a deep love for the game, especially mainly in season 1, I had really no issues with Bella Ramsey playing Ellie. I think she played that kid, Ellie, very well. I do wish they would have casted an actual kid. I think that would have been more authentic, but I thought Bella Ramsey did good. Pedro Pascal, as much as, like you said, I love him as an actor, Joel is a country boy. He grew up on the farm, with a truck, and we see in season 2 or in the Last of Us 2, he was really into wood carving. I think he made guitars. I can't remember if he made guitars or just worked on them, but he was really into the guitar. He's just a country boy. He's hard exterior, soft interior, And I just don't think that, I don't really feel like Pedro Pascal embodied Joel as much as just a new Joel. He was the Joel of the live action.
Yeah.
Which,
honestly, in a way, you kind of have to do.
Yeah.
Especially with a character like Joel, who is like you said, it's one of it's if not your favorite game, it's one of your favorite games of all time.
Right.
And that's an entire generation of video game lovers, you know, people who grew up with this generation of video games, they feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So that the Joel in those games is a character of himself.
Yeah.
So if you try to just echo that, you're going to fall short. So in a way, like, he has to do something different than what that version of Joel is.
Right. It's just, you know, I remember talking to you when we were watching season 1 about how annoyed it was that they casted Troy in the show and how much he looked like Joel. Like, I don't know why they didn't cast him as Joel, just because he's not a name.
Oh yeah, he was in the chick who what's her face? He was in the towards the end.
Yeah, he was in the community that they were.
He was like the right hand of that chick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, was he, or was he working with?
He was working with the chick.
Oh, okay.
The lady from Yellow Jackets.
Yeah,
and
the completely pointless character.
Yeah, but she wasn't even a character in the game, right?
No. I don't understand what the point of that was. She was also not a good actor. Like, that whole character was really corny and cheesy.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, they casted Troy in the show. They casted Ashley in the show as well, but they didn't cast Ashley as Ellie, right? She didn't make sense. She's way too old to play a kid.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But Troy, it was the correct age to play Joel.
Yeah.
And he looked
like Joel.
Like Joel. Like, whenever he showed up in the show, I'm like, there's Joel. What is Joel doing here? You know, it's just, I don't understand why they didn't cast him. I think it's just because they wanted to sell the show.
They didn't cast him, because they want to put butts in seats.
Yeah, exactly.
They want those subscriber numbers to go up.
I think they softened Joel a lot in this show, to be honest. Like, he is pretty ruthless in the game, and he was ruthless, but it was like I don't know, man. It felt like it feels like the writers are driving the characters. It doesn't really feel like in the show that the characters are driving themselves, you know? If that makes sense. And I think in season 2, it's even worse, in my opinion. But yeah, I know we can get into that here in a minute. But overall, I thought season 1 was enjoyable. I thought it was well done. I thought the way they handled the infected was really cool, even if they changed a few things about like spores and stuff, you know?
Okay.
But season 1 I enjoyed. I was excited to I wasn't excited. I was interested to see what they did with season 2, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I remember, so me and Shelby, like I said, neither one of us played the game. So we were coming at it from a completely different perspective of just like, on this version, how does this version work as a television show? Everything else put aside with the video games. And overall, like, I enjoyed a lot of the performances in it. I mean, I don't have that connection with Joel that you have in that previous version of it. So, like, I thought that Pedro Pascal did a pretty good job. I thought the same thing with Bella Ramsey. I remember, like, there are points, and I will say it's more so this season where me and Shelby were talking about it, kind of like what you're just saying. It was like, I feel like the writers are pushing the characters, and the writers are making decisions. The writers are making decisions that the actors are carrying out on the show. I feel like that's something that is happening with Ellie so far in the second season, where it's like, I know she can be a bit of a shit ass. Like, even in the first season, she's this little smart ass, you know what I mean? But she's like almost insufferable in the second season. And I'm like, I don't know how much of that is, I think that Bella Ramsey I think that she's doing what she's supposed to do, but I think that it's the way that the character is being written for her to do that and for her to play it like that's making Ellie like very unlikable right now. Like, every single decision she makes, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well,
I understand that you want to be like your own person. You want to distance yourself from Joel in the first 2 episodes, like in a way that's like, you're not his little girl, you're your own woman or whatever. And you want your anonymity. But it's like, how can you continuously just push every single bound? Like in the episode 2, when she's going with their scout leader and like they just get done saying like, this is your leader. Like you listen to what they say. If they tell you to come back, you come back. Yeah. And immediately, dude, they're running off doing their own thing. And it's like, what do you like?
Well, you know what it is they treat them as teenagers in the season 2. Mm-hmm. They're like little rebellious teenagers that just want to do what they want and not listen to anybody. Even with the whole thing between Ellie and Joel, like he says to the therapist, he's like, yeah, she's at that age. It's like, no, no. Like I'll say, I don't know what's right. I don't know what some people are saying that this is more accurate because technically Ellie is a teenager at this time. Mm-hmm. But this world that they're living in forces you to grow up really fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially what Ellie and Joel have been through.
Yeah. And it's like Shelby was making a point of it. She made a interesting point. She was like, this world is literally all Ellie's known. Mm-hmm. Like she was literally born into this world.
Right.
Like we were talking about the doctor in the 3rd episode that's like checking her out in the beginning. She was like, if that guy is, as let's say he's like 40, mm-hmm. Which is what he looks around 40, he would have been in medical school.
Right.
When this happened. So he's not like, even his role as a doctor is so different, and his training as a doctor would be so different than what an actual doctor's training would have been, because he never graduated.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everyone is forced in these different variants of their roles in this world. And so it's like they might be, so she's what now, 17, 18?
I think she might be.
It's 5 years, and she was supposed to be what, like 14 or 15? I can't remember. Yeah. So maybe she's 19.
I think she's 19.
Okay, so maybe she's 19.
Yeah.
She's not a typical 19-year-old.
Right.
By today's standards.
Right.
She's in a completely different mindset. I akin it to like being like growing up in the 1800s. By 14, you're already being married off, starting your own little section of your farm so that you can start pumping out kids and making and surviving.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same standard that we're living in today.
I'll tell you, I just finished 3rd episode today. Mm-hmm. And I was
good closet scene.
Closet scene?
Where she's full spoil. I mean,
oh yeah, the closet scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Shelby was balling.
Yeah. That was Bella Ramsey is a very good actor. And she's holding like she's doing a fantastic job with this emotion. But they are writing. I don't know where to go with this topic. Like, I don't know what to start with. But I'm so disappointed. I am so disappointed. They are writing Ellie so wrong.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I haven't even played the games tonight. I can see that.
It's such a joke. Episode 1 of season 2, right? You have the New Year's Eve scene. Mm. What does Dina say to Ellie before they kiss? She says,
"Everyone's looking at you," or something.
No,
like that
will.
Or they should be terrified.
They should be terrified of you.
Yeah.
The reason she says that and means it is because Ellie was raised by Joel.
Yeah,
she is one of the most capable young women in their entire community.
Yeah,
she is like smart.
One of the most capable people. In the all the little fuck boys, fuck them. Like she's yeah.
She's literally like on par with Joel in terms of like intelligence, understanding of situations, like able to read threats, able to fight, able to like she was raised by Joel. He taught her everything he knew. He treated her like his little girl. He taught her how to read maps. He taught her how to clean guns. He taught her everything. And in this season, without Joel, they're treating her like she doesn't know anything. But yet they talked about her like she does. Like in this episode, season 3, she says on the horse, she's like, there's about to be a few less, you know, or a bunch less or something. And she's like, I was trying to sound like a badass. And Dina's like, you don't have to try.
You don't have to try.
Yeah, she does, because she doesn't know what she's doing in this show.
Yeah.
Like Dina had to come in and show her how to read a map, show her that she needed medical
like you don't
supplies.
have any medical supplies. You have no provisions. You just got a duffel bag full of weapons.
Yeah.
Like what happens when you sprain your ankle getting off your horse. Yeah.
That's what annoys me so much, because in the game, Ellie could have completely left on her own without telling anybody and probably had almost as much success. Because she's like a SEAL team.
Is Dina, is she in the game? She's a real character? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they're playing her very different.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much I want to get into, because I don't want to spoil the rest of the series. And I don't want to spoil the rest of the series, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't played the game and is watching the show, such as you. So I'm trying to only talk about what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
In the game, basically, like, what happens in this show so far is somewhat the same. There are some changes, you know, but the kind of arc is generally the same. And I'll say that, like, Dina in the game, like, Dina is a ride or die for Ellie, you know? She's, like, from the get-go, like, Dina and Ellie are, like, they're a team, you know? And so that the scene in the at the dance, that's like a real authentic moment where Dina finally, like, claimed ownership of Ellie, basically, you know? And the rest of they move forward with that information. In the show, they made it so weird and awkward, as if, like, they were, like, drunk, and, like, they
say it like 5 times, like, oh, you were drunk. Oh, well,
it didn't mean anything.
It didn't mean anything. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not what they do in the game. In the game, they're like, I mean, there's, like, you know, they're trying to figure it out and, like, see, like, what does this mean? And, like, you know, how do I approach this? But they're in it, you know? And then I don't like how they, like, I watched a video where someone was really, like, hurt by it, you know, because in the tent, Dina's like, I mean, you're gay and I'm not. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Bitch, you kissed me. Like, what? Yeah.
They're completely taking the romance out of the situation and making it like this weird teen drama thing. I don't know. It's just, it bothers me. It really bothers me.
Well, so there are a couple of things that bothers me about it too. I mean, you're talking about how, like, Ellie is like a one-man, like, Navy SEAL team, right? Yeah. Like, she's this bad. Part of being, like, an operator like that is knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses and knowing what's effective and what's not. The scene when she's, like, training with I forget his name, Jesse and the other dude, and he's like, she goes, by the way, next time, or he says that, by the way, I told him to pull his punches. Yeah. And she's like, bullshit. You told him, and he's like, player, if 120-pound person goes up against a 220-pound person, if that dude isn't pulling their, male or female, it don't matter. If that person isn't pulling their punches, that's death.
Yeah.
That is death. And so, like, the fact that she wouldn't accept that and know that is so fucking unbelievable. If she's had this combat training and she's been training for as long as she supposedly has at this point, because she's throwing them in arm bar, she's doing like she's walking up a reversal into a wizard or something. I'm like, it's just unbelievable.
It is, and I think it's hard to believe what she says, because in all honesty, Bella Ramsey is a very small person, very petite, you know? I don't know how tall Bella Ramsey is, but she seems pretty short.
She seems pretty short.
Yeah. And so that it seems like, you know, it seems slightly unbelievable to see someone so small goes up against someone so big and act all cocky about it.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels a little strange.
Well, it's like, look, and like that is the beautiful thing about like martial arts, right? That's like the reason that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was such a fucking game changer, is because you had the Gracies who were they picked the smallest Gracie in UFC 1 to go up against these dudes who were yoked out of their minds, and like there was no weight class in this tournament, and he won. But he wasn't a 125-pound person. Like he was still like 170, 175 pounds. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And at the time, no one knew what the fuck Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was. So he would go in there and he was literally snapping, like doing small joint manipulation, like snapping ankles, snapping fingers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. In this world, like there are no rules. Mm-hmm. Like if you try to wrap someone up in an arm triangle, that dude was massive.
Yeah.
That mother sucker was massive.
Yeah.
All that dude had to do was pick her up and Quentin Rampage Jackson slam her on the ground, and she's dead.
You know what was so bad about that scene that for us who played the video game ruins the entire show? Mm. He is the same size that Abby is supposed to be.
Okay, so that was another thing I was going to bring up. The girl that's playing Abby, mm-hmm. I didn't know that's who that was supposed to be when she first came on screen, because I was like, well, Abby's massive.
Yeah.
Like she's a physical presence.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at this girl and I'm like, as soon as she started talking, I was like, wait, is this supposed to be Abby? And then, you know, you quickly realize it is, but I was like, okay, well, maybe she's going to show me something. And then in the scene, she's still like this, like, brat.
Yeah.
Like a brat, dude. I'm like, I don't believe that you're in charge of anyone. Right. I don't believe that you're a leader of anything.
Yeah.
Like, she does the good tears, you know, and like that scene where she's running away from the what do you call them? Infected? Do you call them
infected
Zeds? And like the gate is closing on her, like as she's crawling underneath. That was a really well done scene. That was great.
Yeah.
But as like this character supposed to be, as Abby's supposed to be, like I don't buy her as Abby whatsoever.
No.
And I'm like how does that get by casting? How does that, like, of all the people, of everyone who, you know, was in charge of the games, because they have to have some kind of say in it. I'm sure they don't have final say, but there's got to be, like, is this who, like, you would think would represent, blah, 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 when you're doing casting? That got by everybody? Mm-hmm. Like, everyone who saw screen tests were like, that's her. Yeah. Yep, that's her. Like, really? I don't know, man. I'm like super bummed about that, because I was really looking for somebody to have like a physical presence on screen that helped bring Abby to life.
Yeah. Also, that actress has said that she only had 3 months before shooting, so she couldn't even train.
Oh, I couldn't even try to bulk up.
So why did they cast someone so late? that's so integral to the story.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Unless that's a lie and she just didn't train. She didn't want to get big.
I mean, it could be a lie.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we don't know, but it just feels, the whole thing feels weird. And like Abby being like, you play as Abby in the game.
Right.
You split between Ellie and Abby. You keep kind of trading off because it's supposed to be this like, you're seeing two sides, right?
Two perspectives.
Yeah. And so you play as Abby a lot and you get to experience her in her realm, you know? And she is like, she's a drill sergeant, you know? Like she's like a hardcore, well-trained, you know, person.
Yeah.
Who has dedicated her entire life to getting as strong and as powerful as she can to exact her revenge. You know, she's supposed to be, and I think this is another thing, is she's supposed to be on equal footing of like her side compared to Ellie, you know, like they're both like these incredible forces within their communities. And I think because Ellie isn't in the show, Abby can't either.
They had to scale down, you think?
Imagine
like intentionally scaling down?
I think so, because I mean that's possible, because think about casting someone who is built like, you know, a power lifter.
Yeah.
Who is trained in like combat, very like American style boxing kind of combat, but very well trained, like really good with weapons, you know, very tactical, going up against someone who's 115 pounds.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about when that scene with Ellie training with that really massive guy. That whole scene, watching that and knowing what Abby is supposed to be like, it's just like you're just showing what would happen.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And then they're like, well, don't worry. Abby in this universe is much smaller.
Yeah.
Abby in this universe is the smallest person of her team.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I was just like, because I didn't know who was supposed to play her, like at all. I didn't look up any behind the scenes, any like set photos or anything out of the season, because I was like, I want to be completely surprised.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I showed up, I literally had no idea who she was supposed to be because of the image that I had from the games, of just knowing who Abby was from the games. I was like, I don't see it whatsoever. Yeah, I don't fucking get it.
I mean, I knew, like, they let us see her braid right off the get go to know, but
that was the clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just funny because like people like female actors, the faux pas or the misconception of like being strong is just a masculine trait now.
Yeah.
Is gone. Like, you know, and you have a lot of actresses doing these like rad body transformations where they're getting like not just like what's her face from Terminator 2, like you know, shredded, but I mean like actors are getting like bulked up, like the what's her name from the movie with Kristen Stewart where they play a lesbian couple that's like mixed up with like drugs and she's like a bodybuilder. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my god, she gets so yoked. She looks so good. Her even what's her name? Emily Blunt in Edge of Tomorrow was like, her traps were fucking yoked in that movie.
Yeah.
To the girl who just did Queen of the Ring. And like all the glows, like it's not unusual for actors to get, you know, have a really good physical transformation anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why wouldn't you allow your actor who's supposed to kind of be a second lead in this new season, why wouldn't you give them the time to do that? Why wouldn't you give them the correct amount of preparation to do that?
Yeah.
Or just cast someone who already, if you can't give them time, why wouldn't you cast someone who already has those physical attributes?
Mm-hmm. Well, the question is, are they even going to let Abby be a second lead in this second season? Or are they just going to keep the focus on Dina and Ellie? You know, like, are we only going to get maybe a few scenes, which I don't really know what their story is if they do that. Because it's already episode 3 is already gone, you know, like, yeah. So they only have a few more episodes to give us everything about Abby that we got in the game to see what this, like, the meaning of this story is, you know?
Yeah.
Because the whole point of the first game is what links you would go to for love, right? That's Joel's whole thing, is like everything he did because he loved Ellie.
Right.
And the things he did were wild, you know? And then in game 2, it was what links would someone go to for revenge, you know? And we saw that like that's Abby's drive up until, you know, episode 2 of the show. And it's Ellie's drive moving forward. And I don't know if they're going to be able to, like, embody the horror and the, like, complexity of that without showing everything that they showed in the game, you know? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I as a whole, I think I still enjoy the series, but there's a lot of questions of, like, choices that they're making that I truly don't understand.
It just feels like they're making every moment weaker than it was in the game. I felt that in season 1 too. I felt like every time something happened that happened in the game, I was like, this had so much more impact in the game. They just, the things they changed, the sentences they changed, the dialogue, the moments, it just, everything feels like it's not as, like, it's weaker. It's not as good, like, almost intentionally, you know? It's like written worse. Doesn't make sense. And I don't know what kind of restructure they had to go through to make a live action, but it just feels like every choice that they made is worse than just committing 1-to-1 to the game.
Yeah.
Like
they're making changes just so that they can make changes.
Yeah. So here's another example. Whenever Joel shows up at the cabin or retreat or resort or whatever that is, he's with Tommy in the game.
You're talking about where Ellie almost gets raped? You're talking about?
No, I'm talking about season 2 when Abby's team finds them.
Okay.
So that scene, what you're talking about, is one of my biggest upsets of season 1.
Because that's different too, right? Like, he actually saves her.
So, well, she saves herself because just Joel can't get there in time. So she has to go feral, you know, and save herself. And in the first game and season 1 of the show, like, she's got that machete and she's just trying to remove the threat, like, out of the universe, you know? Yeah. And she doesn't stop until Joel runs in and grabs her and is like, you are safe. You are okay. Like, I have you now. Like, I will protect you. You don't have to protect yourself anymore at this moment, you know? Yeah. And it's kind of like, it's the moment where, like, literally the entire game, like, the relationship between them does a complete 180 after that very moment, because he saw what she had to go through without him. Yeah. And he was like, never again.
Yeah.
Never again will I let you. And it's kind of the moment where he completely lets loose of his acknowledgement that he loves Ellie like a daughter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in the show, she's alone. She's alone. He never saves her. He never shows up. She comes out.
She like walking out or
she
something?
walks out. Yeah. She's just like completely like zoned. Like she's just shattered from her experience. And then Joel's like, oh, I'm here. It's like, no, no.
Yeah.
She had to go through that fight. Like not the fight, but the mental fight.
Yeah.
You know, like in the game, she's still fighting in her mind, even though the fight's over.
Right.
Because the horrors that she thought she was going to have to face.
Mm-hmm.
And Joel pulls her out of that. And in the show, it's just, it loses all the depth of that moment where, like, in the show, she should just be completely traumatized because she's just like, she comes out of there and she's just like, and then he shows up like, oh, I'm here. It's okay. It's like, no, it's not okay. So I don't know. I hate that scene. I think they, for no reason, completely took all like the heaviness out of that moment.
Well, and I will say, as playing like devil's avocado here, that is what like what's her face is always alluding to. Like when she's talking to her, she's like, "Oh, but you're okay."
Yeah,
and she's like, "Yeah, you know." But I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But so back to season 2. In the game, it's Joel and Tommy together.
Yeah.
And they are the ones, like, they save Abby from under the fence. She takes them back. They're like trying to run away from all this, and they get into the resort. And then they're like, "Thanks for your help. You know, like I'm Tommy. This is my brother Joel." And then the whole room just falls silent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're like, "Joel," and Joel's like, "Yeah, you sound like you've heard of us." And then that's when everything happens. And it's so shocking. It's so shocking in the game. Obviously, 1, because we didn't know what was going on, but 2, because no one was ready for it. You know, not even Abby's team was ready for it.
Yeah.
Like they were still
do you know who Abby is at that point in the game?
The game opens up with Abby.
But you know that her dad is the doctor that he killed already? Or you don't know?
No,
okay.
You don't. So I'll say,
well, then that's part of the impact. Then
I'm jumping around a little bit, but the game is told kind of backwards. So you kind of like, it's like you're meeting these people through flashbacks.
Yeah.
And the story is being told to where you don't understand the impact of something until the impact hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, that's why this is so heavy. So the game opens up, you're playing as Abby. Like I think that's how the game opens up. But anyways, with the show, the show does 2 things different, or several things different. But in this moment, Abby already knew who Joe was and tricked him into going to the resort. And then she tells, like, she kind of like warns everyone, you know, or like warns the guy, you know, and it just has this weird, like, we're going to trick him kind of thing. And the other thing is that the team isn't completely on board.
Right. Yeah. Old girl's like already like, you said we weren't going to hurt her and da-da-da-da-da. And you said da-da-da. You said fast. Yeah.
And I think it's because it feels like in the show, Abby is the only one who suffered, which is not true. Like in the game, they're together because all of their parents were there.
Oh, okay.
Like they all lost people in that hospital raid.
Yeah. And I think she says something like that, like we all lost family that day or something like that. But like no one, literally she's the only one who has a platform to talk about it. Like you don't literally hear from anyone else.
Right. And that's why in the show it's a little weird. Like it's like it just seems like they're just allowing Abby to run free and chaotic, you know, it's just weird. But what's so shocking is, you know, this moment where they're like, oh yeah, I'm glad we made it out of there. I'm Tommy. This is Joel. And the room falls silent. And then And then it shows a scene where like Abby says something to Joel, I forget what she says, and shoots him in the leg, you know?
Yeah.
And then Tommy's like, Joel! And one of the other characters comes out of nowhere and just pistol whips the fuck out of him. Like, I mean, just smashing him in the face until he passes out.
Yeah.
And it's brutal. And you're like, oh my God. Like, what is happening? Like, it's giving me chills thinking about that scene because it's so brutal out of nowhere. You think they're safe.
Yeah.
And then they're not safe, you know? Yeah. And like, you knew something might happen, you know, you knew it because we knew what Abby wanted, but it didn't quite hit until that moment. And in the show, they're like, oh, we're going to put her to sleep. What?
Yeah.
You're going to put her to sleep. Don't worry. She won't remember. She's not going to get hurt. We're just going to put her to sleep.
Yeah.
We're going to put her to bed. She'll wake up. Yeah, it's just weird. Like, I don't understand the whole point. And then they take way too long where he's like, okay, you can do it. I'm good. She's like, oh, I don't want to. You're just going to go to sleep. It's like, so weird. See, she's asleep. I don't understand. I don't understand. It was so weird. Even if I'd never seen the game before, a bunch of people coming for revenge and then be like, hold her, we're going to put her to sleep.
Yeah.
What?
If you're getting ready to kill him anyway, why?
Yeah. If you want to knock someone out so that they can't interfere, but you don't want to kill them, then knock them out.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they did with Tommy. They knocked him the fuck out. Like, I mean, gone.
Right. Yeah.
And it took the brutality out of the rest of the team. It made them all softer, which if that's the story they want to tell in the show, we'll see what that does with everyone else, because now they're not connected. Like, now they're not a unit. They're not.
Yeah, there's already a rift between them.
Yeah.
Like, literally from the first scene you see them together.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what story they're going to tell, man. I don't know.
I mean, I'll say this, like I said, like without having the connection that you have to the game, I'm still enjoying it. I just don't understand, even with my limited knowledge of that universe, I don't understand a lot of the choices that they're making with the characters. Like, it just seems off. Like I said, me and Shelby were even saying, I was like, I understand. Like, I get that she's supposed to have, like, be a teenager. We talked about that. She's supposed to have, like, the angst and everything, but she's so, like, she's disregarding all sense of reason at every single turn.
Yeah.
And it's like, this isn't that universe, man. And she's not a kid.
Yeah.
Like, she's not a 12-year-old kid. She's not the little girl in the scene of the second episode or whatever it is who's, like, wants the hammer. And she's just, like, completely oblivious to what's going on. She knows. Like, she knows.
Yeah.
The consequences.
Right. And that's
of everything that she's doing. And she still fucking does it.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that, like, connects her and Joel, is that Joel immediately starts to see, like, you're kind of clever. Like, I get you. You're pretty clever, you know?
Yeah.
And then they took that cleverness away, it feels like.
Yeah.
Made her kind of a fool.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of, I'm going to keep watching it, like, because I do enjoy it. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also curious on what story they're telling with the infected as well. Because the infected don't attack the town like that in the game. Like, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That was completely added for the show, which was a cool scene. I liked it. I'm just interested in, like, what's the story they're telling with that. I liked the pipe having the fungus in it or whatever.
Yeah, the spores all in it.
Yeah, well, the show doesn't have spores yet. That's weird. That's the interesting thing. That's why that stuff was able to be in the town, because there's no such thing as spores in this universe.
Oh. Well, I say spores. I mean, like, the vines or
the tendrils or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the in the game, there are certain areas you can't enter. Like the characters put on gas masks when they enter.
Oh, because there are spores in the air?
Yeah, if it goes underground, if it goes in an old building, there's spores. And you have to...
Now, I will say this. They did a great job with, like, creating this sense of, like, anxiety and fear whenever Abby falls down the cliff and she goes into that, like, mass grave, and you're like, holy fuck. And then you realize it's a mass grave of infected.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And the whole ground starts opening up. And, dude, the panic when, like, from the shot of her running with that horde of them behind her, and, like, each like little segment of it is getting tighter and tighter as it's going, like, from that to the prison walls, or the walls, and then the walls to the fence, and then the fence to the ground. Everything's just enclosing and closing and closing.
Right.
Dude, that was such a good sequence. Me and Shelby both were just like,
yeah, no, it was good.
We're going. That was really good filmmaking. It's just the execution at the end.
Yeah.
But so is that? I'm assuming that's how she kills Joel in the game with the golf club.
Yes. In the show, this is okay. That's what I don't. This is where the logic fails. In the game, where she's a massive hulking person, she uses a golf club.
Yeah.
In the show, where she's 102 pounds, she's using her fists.
Yeah.
Her fists would break. Literally, like, her arms in the show could not handle the amount of punches that she threw.
Just fucking one after the other.
Yeah, she wouldn't be able to do it. That human being does not have the physical training to handle throwing punches like that. Yeah. And she's wailing on him for who knows how long whenever we run in. In the show, she just uses the golf club, and she has the training to use her fist if she wanted to. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of
it's
what
roughly
happens.
The same.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it progresses going forward.
Another little detail that they removed that I think would have added more rage to Ellie is when Ellie is, like, being held down. She's, like, kind of starting to faint, and she's watching, like, what's happening to Joel. And then I don't remember. Oh, for the final blow, the whole, like, weird golf club broken pick to the back of the neck. That was a little strange for me. I think in the game, she just gives him one big wha-bah, and he's gone, Yeah. But whenever that guy walks over and is like, pendejo, and walks away, in the game, he spits on Joel's body. And that's the last thing Ellie sees before she faints, basically.
Okay.
Is someone spitting on Joel's body.
Yeah.
And they removed that in the show.
Interesting.
Yeah. He just like pendejo, and then walks away.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's a small detail.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
In, like, sending someone over the edge.
Yeah.
Of, like, not just vengeance, but, like, specific vengeance driving them towards someone or something.
Yeah. The same with the golf club, like, final hit versus the, like, puncture. Like, I don't know what it is, but a puncture to the back of the neck, the spine, just feels so gentle.
Clinical?
Yeah, it feels, clinical. I guess that makes sense if you're thinking about, like, her background, but still, I don't know. It just feels gentle and, like it's like how you kill, like how they kill, like, certain fish in Japan whenever they're making sushi to, like, get the most, like, nice, like, tuna fillets or whatever, or fish fillets for sushi. They just, like, give a quick, like, hammer with the spike, just, and it's out, painless, and you get really clean. So it felt very like mercy kind of kill, which doesn't. Which really
the whole
make
thing
sense.
isn't. The whole thing is nothing but passion.
Yeah. So it's just an interesting change. It's like, just because, like, the golf club broke, I guess, but why not just not break it?
Or why not break it, or just grab one of the other 9 in the bag?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I feel like a golf club is a really bad weapon. Those poles are very fragile, aren't they? Yeah.
No, they're pretty sturdy.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about golf.
Yeah, they're meant to be able to bend but not break.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm going to keep watching because I do enjoy it. It's just like I'm already like seeing little things like we've talked about that I'm just like, it's such a weird choice for them to make.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, like to give it if I can come up with some compliments, I think it looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think the visuals are amazing. They do a really good job with the visuals, the landscape, the graphics and everything. The infected look really good. The practical effects, because we've seen background footage of like the actors acting like the infected. So cool. I love that. I love that they're using Last of Us music from the game, like the soundtrack from the game.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that. The song at the end of that episode, is that the song that Ellie plays in the game?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's the actual recording?
It sounds like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if they recorded a studio version, but that's Ellie sings that. When does that is that? I think that's the very beginning. I think that might be how the game opens up, or
because I remember that from the trailer.
That's
like
right.
There was the trailer for the game.
Yeah. That was because Joel walks in, right? He's like, "You ready to go, kiddo?"
Maybe, yeah.
Is that it? And she's like, "I'm gonna kill everyone."
I can't remember, but I remember that being in the trailer.
I want to find it
when that game came out.
Yeah. Yeah, and then maybe that's how I can't remember how the game opens up. It's been so long.
Ashley Johnson's the name of the actor?
I think so. I'll show you this trailer after the podcast because it's incredible. And it kind of just that small thing. So if anyone listening, if you have not seen any footage from the video game, if you don't know much about the video games and you're watching the show for the first time, go watch the trailer for Last of Us Part 2 on PlayStation with let's see if I can find it. Just says reveal trailer. Show it if you scroll through like the thumbnail and stuff, it should show Ellie playing guitar. And that'll give you an idea of the Ellie that we get in the show and how like just her singing that song, you feel the terror that she's about to rain down, like just when because that was our first show or reveal of grown-up Ellie, like the last time we saw her, she was this little chibi, and now like we see her in the show, she's all leaned out, tall, lanky, and like she looks dangerous. I
remember like watching that trailer and the impact that it had, or like a similar feeling that it had was, do you remember the show Penny Dreadful? Did you ever watch that show?
I know of it, but I never watched it. I think I might have seen like the first episode.
So there's I'm getting chills thinking about it. There's the trailer for the second season, I think is what it was. Helen, Draco Malfoy's mom, Aunt Paul in Peaky Blinders. Helen McCrory, was that her name? She passed like 2 years ago, I think. It's her singing this song in the bathtub. Mm-hmm. And I think she's in like a bathtub of blood or something because she's like a supernatural being. Mm-hmm. And she's singing this song, this like old song, and it's so creepy. Mm-hmm. And like at the end of the song, she says something like, "When Lucifer fell, he did not fall alone," or something like that. and the aura that it all has, like, completely changes how that show is going, and you feel it from that fucking trailer. And like, that's a similar feeling that I remember getting when watching. Like, it's got such a presence to it. It's so good.
Yeah, because Ellie is singing a song about it's like killing everyone.
Yeah.
And then that's how the trailer ends. She's like Joel walks around the corner and he's like, "You ready to go, kiddo?" And she's like, "I am going to kill everyone." You're like, "Oh shit," because we didn't know anything. You know, whenever she says that, you're like, "Dude, what happened? What is she talking about?" It's cool, so good. You know what's funny is that I'll say, like, now that we've seen episode 2, I'll say that I played the whole game. It was great, but a part of me lost interest after Joel died, you know? Like, a lot of people make jokes about the show being over now. It's like, oh, show's over. But honestly, like, I watched the game writers or whatever talk about the story and what it meant, and like how, you know, that's the story that they wanted to tell. And I get it. I really do. It makes sense that this would happen. There's no weird plot holes to it. Like, I get it. But as someone who connected with the first game so much and loved the father-daughter dynamic, I feel like I can speak for a large majority of the people in my realm when I say that, like, that's not really the story we wanted, you know?
Yeah.
This tale of tragedy and revenge. I think we just wanted more of you know, them. It could have been anything. Them going on another adventure for something, to save Tommy, to do something else. I don't know. But even though the story is well told, it's beautiful in a very brutalist and tragic style. It's just not quite the story that I wanted.
You wanted.
Yeah.
That's
so, you know, I think I'm already bitter watching the show, like, knowing that, you know. But now, after watching the show, I kind of want to play it again. And like,
I'll tell you what, if you want to play it and you stream it, I'll watch you do it.
I was going to ask if you wanted to.
I'll totally watch you do it. Yeah. Because I was talking to Shelby. I was like, I watched some of it through with Benjamin back when we lived together, but I never sat down and watched it chronologically. I would just come in at different points and veg out on the couch while he was playing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I would be totally down for that, because I'm not going to port it, because I've already seen, like, it's trash ported. So I'm not going to do that and waste my money. But if you got it, I would. You
want to start from 1?
Yeah.
The thing is, this is the thing that they lose in the show, and this is general. This isn't a critique on any of the writing or anything. It's just the fact of converting to a live action. Is in the show or in the games, you play, like, let's say the first game, you play as Joel or Ellie for, you know, however many hours you play the show for, through every moment of their journey together. And so you see all these moments that lead to them getting closer and closer and closer. And you see everything they go through that hardens them more and more, both Joel and Ellie, you know?
Yeah.
And it creates so much more richness to these moments throughout the story, the cutscenes and stuff that make up these huge, like, very dramatic memories in my mind, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what's beautiful about it. And in the show, they skip right to those cutscenes, right? We're just getting the cutscenes, and they're supposed to be close, and they're supposed to be, you know, whatever. And it kind of loses that naturally.
Yeah. But here's something else that I don't know if we talked about, but I thought about before, right? When it comes to video games and adapting them into a show or a television series, or a film or a television series. I think that it generally, as a rule of thumb, it's gonna be better adapted as a series. Video games are, just because of what you're talking about. So the impact of time that time has on you getting emotionally involved to it, right? Mm-hmm. So in the video game, you're putting like 50 plus hours, depending on the video game, like 100 plus hours. Like if I think about how much time I put into Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, dude, I mean, over 100 hours, just that game alone. And then if you're trying to condense that to a movie, a 2.5 hour film, you're not going to have the same emotional connection. Even if you're doing it to a series, 10 episodes, so 45 minutes to 50 minutes an episode. Yeah. So roughly 10 hours, you're still not getting that same amount of emotional connection than you did with the video game. So emotionally, it's already going to be cut short anyway. So if you're doing that and then what you're talking about, all those little moments, those little details of them reacting to little different things differently, you're taking all that out and you're just skipping to the big, broad bullet points, then you're not going to have the same emotional connection to it, like whatsoever.
Yeah. I think what I feel like would make it work is a complete rewrite. You would have to do it because there are shows where we get that level of connect and we get that level of emotion in one season, There are shows that do that. If we talk about Game of Thrones season 1, we are so connected to most of those characters by the end of season 1. And it's just one season. It's 8 episodes, Yeah. But it's because it was written to do that.
Well, it's written, but it's also written basically by George R. R. Martin.
I mean, it's
the first 3 seasons are, I mean, a lot of times word for word, just taken from the book.
Yeah, but what I mean is it's written so that we get connected to those characters within a short time frame. They know how to build those relationships, build those moments, though even though we have fewer of them, to an extent where by episode 8, when we lose Ned, we're traumatized by it.
Yeah.
And it only took 8 episodes to get there. And so I think it's because they're writing it for that. And I don't think this show, these writers are doing that. They're not writing the show for it to have the same impact within a shorter time frame. They're writing it to bring the game to life in a way, but
also failing at that.
Yeah. I think I heard someone say that it feels like they're writing it with the idea that everyone has already played the game. And I say, I don't care, even if that's true, you still have to redo it because I'm not looking at the same faces, it's not the same people. Yeah. If it was a TV show, completely animated, like CGI animated with the video game characters, voice acted by the same characters or actors, it probably would have worked. But a live action with new faces, new voices, you got to write it differently. You have to make me believe that this person is this person and that these two people love each other,
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think I quite got that in the show.
Yeah. It's hard, man. It's hard doing these video game adaptations. That's why the vast majority, you have your outliers, you have Fallout, you have, we've been talking, kind of tearing it apart this episode, but to an extent, this show works and it is a good show. But amongst all that, you've got so many failed attempts at doing a video game series. I remember watching the Assassin's Creed shit, and I remember my friend Kelly because she was a big Assassin's Creed fan, and I remember we went to go see that in theaters, and both of us were just what?
Yeah. What's that actor's name again?
Michael Fassbender.
Fassbender, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, so many things were in the cards for that thing to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who wrote it, but we were like, fuck yeah, like this is going to be great. And then you go and see it and you're like, what did they fucking do to this shit?
Yeah. See, I didn't know anything about Assassin's Creed, but I remember that. I don't even remember the movie. I remember him waking up or being in a facility at the beginning. That's all I remember.
So that I don't remember a lot of it. I remember it being bad. I remember it. One of the main problems is that they focus on the worst part of the fucking games, which was the real world. Like the best parts of the games is you being in history and going in that time, and they focused on the Animus project as opposed to being within the Animus. But you
remember the Prince of Persia live action with Jake Gyllenhaal? Dude, he was really tan though. He was a really tan Jake Gyllenhaal, and he had Ben Kingsley, and and that was the first thing that we saw him in. Me and my brother, after like Donnie Darko, where he's a teenager. So we're just like, he's got muscles. What? He's got facial hair. What?
Yeah.
But I was huge into Prince of Persia. I was a big Prince of Persia player.
Yeah.
So
I didn't play it that much, but I remember it. I just didn't play it a whole lot.
Yeah.
There's been so many failed attempts, man.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, like one of the best, in my opinion, like one of the best adaptations that's also terrible, but it's also so good at the same time. Part of it's like nostalgia goggles, but it's like the Mortal Kombat movies, like both of them, Annihilation and the original one. Like, I don't know, they're cheesy as hell, but they're super fun. And then they even like, I thought that the remake they did a couple years ago was honestly pretty good.
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh man, like I watched the first two, Annihilation and the first one. Oh, I used to go over to my buddy Jordan Cockman's house, and we would watch them back to back all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, they were so good. I remember the first time that I saw like I was like maybe 9 or so, and we went over to his cousin's house, Cameron, and he had the VHS of it, and we watched the first Mortal Kombat, and the scene in the opening where Shao Kahn, or not Shao Kahn, damn it, the main protagonist in the first one, he kills Liu Kang's brother, and he does like the "your soul is mine," and it flashes, and he's got like the skull that comes out of the screen. That shit scared the hell out of me as a 9-year-old. It was so good though. Oh man, good time.
Yeah. But so far, I will say the best live action video game adaptation I've seen is Fallout.
It's definitely Fallout. Yeah,
so good. I can't wait for season 2.
I couldn't believe how. I mean, we maybe talked about it a little bit, but I was like, it's honestly a masterclass in like how to nail an atmosphere and a mood, with also making it and adapting it to a different medium, because there are rules that you have, like you can't just make it straight camp. You have to mold it, for emotion with this medium. They killed it with the acting. The acting in it is amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
Even the way of the storytelling with the flashbacks and everything woven in the story, where you're getting little bits and pieces of it, and then you're coming back, and then the reveals. Like it was so well done. And like you have like Walter Goggins as the fucking ghoul, like such good cast.
Yeah, it's what's funny is that I remember watching episode 1, and I wasn't sold. Episode 1, like I liked it, but I wasn't quite sold because I did not like Lucy's character, and I wasn't really into Maximus's character.
Maximus was the only one that took me a while to get around to. Yeah,
but then I didn't understand where their minds were. Like I didn't quite understand. It was like they're so cheesy and corny, and then I was like, oh, they're like the most sheltered human beings on the planet. And I was like, and then
raised on pure propaganda.
Yeah. And then in my entire view of the whole show changed, and I was obsessed with after that.
Yeah.
It's also like a very good example on making, like, I'll call it fantasy costumes seem real and natural. Where like
it didn't look like cosplay.
No, I don't know why it feels like no live action adaptations can do that right.
So yeah, like that's what I was. If you look at something like the Cowboy Bebop live action, the first thing I said when I saw the first trailer for it, I was like, "Why have I seen better cosplays of these characters than what I'm seeing on this fucking screen right now?" Like every person in that entire show looked like they were just doing a cosplay of the characters. So the fact that they didn't do that was something as like kooky and weird as Fallout can get. It's like, I don't know. It was just so beautifully that tightrope they were walking the whole season. They did it perfectly the whole season.
They did. Right. Yeah. Do we have any kind of announcement of season 2
of Fallout?
Yeah.
It's in the works. I think they're filming it now, or it just maybe it's wrapped.
Here's why Fallout season 2 is taking so long.
Because Jeff Bezos decided to send 5 women to outside the atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, what else is new, my friend?
Sorry, I just got a text.
That was a really good segue, too.
What?
Just my energy there.
What's new, my friend? I don't know. What else you been watching other than that?
So I just finished an anime called Heavenly Delusions. I don't know where you watch it at.
Did you stream it?
I did.
Not typically.
The art is really good. So good.
It looks good. I'm looking at little stills from it now.
Hulu.
Okay.
It's a Hulu. But animation is fantastic. The story is pretty wild. It's very like it's dystopian mixed with like sci-fi, and it's heavy, really heavy, but it's really good. So I finished season 1 last night, and
it's honestly like I'm looking at stills from it, and like just some of the framing and like the expression that some of this got. It's got like perfect blue vibes. Like honestly, it's kind of weird.
Let's see.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because like it's like it changes. Our style kind of changes a little bit. Like sometimes it'll be very playful, and then sometimes they'll just go really heavy with detail, where they show like wrinkles in the face and like these crazy shadows and stuff. Where you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you need to pay attention to this moment kind of thing.
You know what's funny is like I recently just saw it was a trailer for the new Ghost in the Shell series that they're doing. And I saw a comment on it that was like, I think what we're about to see is an uprising. Pardon me. It said, I think what we're about to see is an uprising against the creation of the use of AI and I can't talk. Not a reconnaissance. Reconnaissance? What's it called?
Renaissance.
Yeah, instead what we're about to see is a renaissance of hand-drawn animation by artists. It's in order to fight like the push of AI in art. And I really hope so.
It would be nice if studios realize that cutting corners isn't gonna breed.
It's not gonna help
success.
Their product in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's funny that you're seeing that because that beckons really hard to that like 90s anime aesthetic.
It has like a at moments it has like not a Ghibli vibe, but like the maybe like Your Name kind of like art style sometimes. The way they draw their characters and stuff. I don't know. Very good. I really enjoyed it. I really hope we get a season 2 because otherwise it'll really upset me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished Invincible season 3, and holy shit, I forget how good that show is.
Season 3 was crazy.
It was so crazy. I didn't finish season 2. I completely forgot about it. I think I started watching it and then just like spaced out and forgot to keep watching it. So I rewatched season 2 completely and then watched season 3, and it's just wild how that show, how it hits sometimes. I think like for me, one of the reasons that I do like it so much is because it reminds me of like Saturday morning cartoons with like Static Shock and Batman Beyond and this like very distinct American animation style from back then. That feels totally different than anime. And it's like sort of nostalgic, you know, in a way. And, but for an adult audience, obviously.
Yeah.
What?
I was going to make a comment, be like, you mean like kind of like Justice League. And then I remembered the conversation where I was like, Wolverine was in Justice League, right?
We just lost all credibility again. But yeah, it does this really good job at hitting these emotional beats with also having like a really good like developing story and like delving into the psyche and repercussions of people's actions, like not just Mark's actions, but Mark's actions having repercussions throughout the series on other planets and other worlds. And even like, you know, like the guy, oh, that was so fucked. I don't know why I didn't expect it. I expected it to show it like the electro guy. I forget his name because some of the names are funny. Dude, the fight scene with him when he does his explosion and it when you see the wreckage of his family's bodies, I did not expect that. I expected to maybe see like their imprint of like their shadow, you know, being exploded, you know, something like that. I didn't expect to see their charred body, like of his
like instantly son. Dehydrated kind of
God, thing. Man, that was fucked. But like, yeah, and they've got the cast is so deep on that show. Like you've got these big name actors who are playing like, you know, side characters. Like Aaron Paul plays the Electro guy. You know, Seth Rogen is Alan.
Yeah, Alan. Yeah.
You know, it's just all over the place. Even small characters, like the principal of the high school, and then he becomes the dean of the college Mark goes to is Reginald. Was it Reginald Johnson? Carl Winslow from Urkel. You know, like, and his character is even named Dean Winslow in the show. Yeah, like it's little stuff like that. You know,
I forget that actor's name that plays Negan. That also plays.
Oh yeah, he's the dude that comes in the Viltrumite.
Yeah, I'm completely blanking on his name right now, but I know
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, but the actor's name or the character's name is like, it's like a word that he does, but they made it his name.
Yeah, Kraken or something like that.
Conquest.
Yeah,
that's his name.
But yeah, they just do such a good job with that show, man.
Yeah,
like they know where to spend their budget and like how to, you know, cut corners where they can so that they can make the impactful moments that much better.
Yeah.
And it's so brutal sometimes.
Yeah.
Like some of the deaths, you know, like where they're getting like their jaws just like even like when Eve and him are fighting him at the end and her jaw's just fucking torn off. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, that messed me up. I thought that was the end.
Dude. Or like what they do with side characters and character development throughout it of like Rex, right? like Rex, when you meet Rex, like I hated his character for such a long time. And then you start to see like him slowly becoming more like a human being and like getting this like sense of humanity and like conscience and like, oh, I actually do have like, there are repercussions for my actions, like emotionally and physically and everything. And like that scene where he's fighting one of the Invincibles in his death scene, and he's like, you know, he's got him like about to crush his throat, and he says something, and he's like, "You've got nothing left to explode," and he's like, "Joke's on you, asshole! It's like I've still got my entire fucking skeleton, you know." And he sticks his hand inside of his own body, and it makes that huge explosion. Oh, so good! It's so good, man.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Yeah, you know, as far as like the development of the show goes, I don't really have any notes. Like I'm enjoying it, and I think they're doing a good job. Story wise, you know, I'm really ready to see Mark step up. You know, like he just keeps doing these. Like I completely get it. It's believable. Like I'm not complaining about the writing. I'm just complaining about the Mark. Like he needs to step up, and like he's been playing the role of a hero without thinking about what he needs to do as a hero, kind of thing. You know, like for instance, he's fighting that electric guy, and the electric guy keeps doing things that like look like it could potentially hurt his family. And Mark's like, "Hey, let's get your family out of here." And he's like, "No." It's like, Mark, just get his family out of there real quick.
Yeah.
Like you can do it. Either that or just pull a Goku and be like, "Well, I'm going way over here. If you want to fight me, follow me." Like that's all you have to do. But he's just like and then like, you know.
Well, I think also too though that I think he's wrestling with the decisions. Like what do you call it? Your what's it called? Where you're like a decision paralysis, because I think he's tried different options with different obstacles and different villains, and somehow they all end up biting him in the ass, and like someone gets hurt or killed. Yeah. And so now he's at a point where it's like, fuck, like what do I do? And he's still towing that line up until that point of like, I'm still a hero, and we don't kill. Like he had just got done telling his the brother, I forget his name, but he like just got done telling him, he's like, we don't kill people. Like that's what separates us from the villains. Yeah. And he's gonna have to, and he does right after that. He's like, fuck him. You know, after he starts fighting the dude with the dimensions, he was like, because that's what he wrestles with, because he did kill him. And then he's like, because he lived still in the end, he still came back and did all this damage and killed so many people. So I think now he's at a point where he's embracing like his Viltrumite ruthlessness maybe, and like his ability to stop something. Yeah. And his ability to actually finitely stop someone. Yeah.
I think, you know, I think it also plays in the fact that he grew up on comic books. So like he grew up with this idea of what a hero is. Well, but it's like the real world.
Yeah. Well, he grew up with comic books, and also his dad as the superhero of the planet, who the whole time was like preaching to him, this is how you're a superhero. Like, you know what I mean? Like Omni-Man, I'm like, that's how I'm sure that he presented himself to them until he did the switch. Right. So he's trying to relearn what he's always known, or what he's always been taught. So I think this next season though, I haven't read the comics, so I don't know, but I think it's going to have to be a change.
Yeah. I mean, especially like, I think Eve is a big motivator for him. So I think he's like, no way am I letting anything happen to Eve again.
Right. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Curious on what Oliver's story is going to.
Oliver, that's his name. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like whenever Alan comes back, because I'm curious to see like what's going to happen when Alan and what's his dad's name? Omni-Man.
Yeah. They
say his name every fucking episode.
I know, and for some reason my brain just keeps. I'm so bad at remembering small details the moment I need to use them.
But yeah, what's going to happen when he comes back? Because I think that's what it alludes to, that he is coming back.
Is there? It's right there. It's not Victor.
No, it's
not Morgan.
It's one syllable.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's one syllable.
No.
Yeah.
No, just look it up.
Joel? No. Nolan. I didn't even have to. Yeah, whenever they come back, it's going to be crazy. But I am really, really enjoying it. I really dig the show. Anything else you wanted to hit on?
No, I haven't had much time to watch all the stuff that I want to watch and do all the things I want to do. So I don't have much to bring up right now. I think, do we have anything in the works right now? As far as like, I started watching Vigilante, My Hero Academia Vigilantes. It's not bad. It's pretty good. I haven't started watching the Lazarus show.
Oh, I did start watching Lazarus.
Really?
I watched the newest episode today. Yeah. I like it. And I like all the respects that they pay to the homages they pay to, Cowboy Bebop and Lupin and everything else that they do. It is weird that there's no Japanese, or I can't find a Japanese audio for it. Because I tried.
Really?
No, because it's through Adult Swim. And so, but yeah, there's not or at least through HBO, there's not a Japanese audio. It's just an English one.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it has its effect.
Yeah.
Not that the voice actors are necessarily bad. It's just it's not the fucking same.
You feel like you're back in high school?
Yeah, straight up. I feel like it's like 2008, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
But it is good. But like you look at the intro for it, which is a straight homage, if you will, to what do you call it? The intro. 3, 2, 1, let's jam. It's from Bebop.
Yeah.
But it's not as good. And you look at the modality and the movements and the character design of the main character who breaks out of prison, his fighting style and everything. It's Spike Spiegel.
Right.
Like home dude or home girl it's supposed to be like the badass femme fatale. Like it is Faye. Even the dude who's like the kind of the hard ass wrangler, like that is supposed to be Jet Black. Like it's a lot of, which is fine. It's cool. And it's different. It's different in Cowboy Bebop as like where Cowboy Bebop is like kind of a episode of the week kind of thing with an overarching story, but it's set up kind of like these individual stories within it.
Right.
This is like an overarching story. Like their whole time is like it's still this heist quest thing.
Yeah.
It's good though. It's fun. I'm enjoying it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm probably gonna wait until it's done and then I'll give it a shot. If there really isn't a sub.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be released on a different platform, but as of like right now, there's no sub on HBO.
Yeah,
where I'm watching it.
Yeah. It's just, man, as an actor, I know you agree. Like the current state of American voice acting, it's just not where I think it needs to be. I remember like. I can still watch shows from like 2012 to 2014, or maybe a little earlier than that, maybe like 2005 to 2010 era, where Funimation was just kind of popping off, with their dubs. There's still shows from that time period that I can still watch dubbed and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You can maybe in part from nostalgia, but honestly, voice acting was just better, and the voices matched the characters, and I feel like I watched a reaction the other day or a while back of someone watching the dub of Freerun, and bro.
Well, I think the difference is it's the same thing that's happened within music that's happened within the American voice acting community anyway. Whereas within music right now, what's happened over the past like 10 years is that all of these different genres have been split and then branched. And there's subgenres of subgenres of subgenres. So what happens is that even though there's more variety in theory, everything, because it's broken down smaller and smaller and smaller, they all sound so much similar to one another because there's one little bitty thing that's like minusculely different. It all sounds the same. I think a similar thing has happened to voice acting where everything kind of sounds the same in it, whereas before you had these huge names, these Chris Sabat's, you had Vic, how do you say his name? Mangalola? I can't remember how to say his name. Vic Manyanga, is that how you say his name? But you had all these different actors who had very distinct voices. Like they weren't like slightly different from one another. They were drastically different from one another. And you felt that in every role that they did. And so like you'd hear one of them and you'd be like, oh, this is very different from this guy. Whereas now kind of across the board, you're like, this guy kind of sounds like this other guy. And this guy kind of sounds like this other guy.
Yeah.
And, and there's also like the impact of the language, like Japanese it lends itself to phrasings. It lends itself to emotion in a way, completely differently than English does.
Well, also one thing, like as through my experience, what I'm seeing is it feels like multiple things are happening. One, these English studios, dubbing studios, it feels like they're casting people based on how nice their voice sounds and not how well they fit the character. Like Chris Sabat has always typically played very manly, very like tough.
Gotta really like grumble to him.
Well, and I've heard him play softer characters a couple times, but I think I feel like he plays a character that's like very soft and gentle.
But like his iconic ones are, Vegeta, Piccolo, Sergeant Lieutenant Armstrong, like these.
Right. But, like I said, the Freerun dub, Freerun is a really tiny elf. And they casted the most mature, deep voice, female voice actor I've ever heard.
Yeah. I haven't heard it, so I don't know.
It sounds like what you imagine a 45-year-old doctor, scientist character sounding like. Very proper, very deep, very intelligent sounding. It doesn't connect. Like if I play just the audio, you'd be like, I don't know who that is. And I'd be like, it's Freerun. It just doesn't match. It doesn't match. And that's just something that's like, I'm noticing with all of these dubs lately is just that over the past several years, it just doesn't seem like they're focusing on character matching, just focusing on getting nice sounding English voices so they can pump out the dub and get the money.
Right. Yeah.
So whenever I hear something being dubbed, I'm just, I lose interest.
And you know what? This is our point of view based on what we currently watch and how we currently watch what we watch. So we mostly watch sub, but there are a whole generation of kids where their introduction into anime is what they're watching on Toonami and these simulcasts now.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really have a reference of like what it was back in the 90s and early 2000s. So this is like I'm sure that they hear like the guy that voices Tanjiro and they're like, oh yeah, like he's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen those videos.
And I'm like, oh, kid. I just feel like Negan,
Yeah.
Man.
Do you hear me? I forget what he yells into the forest. That scene always kills me, man. That dub.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone's going to have their own different expectations, their own different viewpoints, just because of where they're coming at, where they're entering the anime world,
Yeah. Well, you're not going to recognize something as a problem if you've never seen
exactly,
the way it could be.
Yeah. I mean, you're always going to like roast beef sandwiches until you've had a ribeye steak.
Hey, man, I'll kill a roast beef sandwich.
Salisbury steak, then. Fine. Salisbury steak until you've had a ribeye.
Yeah.
I hate Salisbury steak. Okay, everybody. Well, that's going to be another episode in the bag for the Born2BNerd podcast. Lance, where can we find you?
You can follow streams on Twitch, Born2BNerd _live, or _live. Should be in the link
tree below.
Yeah, link tree below. I might try to go live on YouTube soon. I've been hearing good things about it, so I might try that. If I start up a Last of Us playthrough and you want to watch, we can stream it and just have you as a commentator.
Yeah.
We can try that. I got a couple more days off, so.
Okay.
But yeah, Born2BNerd. That's all of our links are down below.
I'm about to put out. I just finished it, uploading it this morning. It's set to premiere on Saturday. Another episode of my motovlog channel, Tharda Fox Moto Photo. If you want to head over to YouTube and check that out, that'd be cool too. Other than that, thanks for tuning in again.
Yeah. Next week or next podcast, we might be talking about some cool stuff. We've been talking about a discussion on the current and future of AI. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a podcast that you and I are both excited to get into. So
possibly have a third guest on.
Yeah. So I'll put him on the spot.
I mean, put it out in the universe and it shall happen. That's all I'm saying.
So I just want to get everybody, I think that's going to be an exciting episode. So if you're interested in that topic of what's happening with AI, then look forward to the next podcast. Tune in.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.